Worlds Collide. Before I get into the review, let me just get a few things out there. Let me ramble real quick. Yeah, Triple H, 18 months and he's out. I've seen it. Everyone's seen it. Everyone's got their hopes up, which I think is silly. I don't think we should be so excited. I don't think leaf fitting is the answer. It's not to say that he won't do a better job in the position. It's to say that the real issue is TKO. And as long as TKO is in charge of WWE, nothing's going to change. All they really care about is the bottom line. They want those merch sales. They want that revenue. They want that 2-3 million house. And that's all they care about. As long as they're meeting those numbers, nothing's going to change. Sure, they brought back R-Truth. Spoiler. Yes, at Money in the Bank later in the evening, they bring him back. But does that really change anything? Do people really think we got worked? Or TKO just saw all the backlash and said, hey, no, we should bring him back and be serious about it. Act like we worked them. That'll work. Ha. I doubt it. I highly doubt they brought him back just because, that's a perfect way to work them. No. They brought him back because all the backlash. Maybe they were finally going to see people stop showing up to the shows. Maybe they saw their ticket sales weren't doing as hot for the next couple months of shows they got planned out. I feel like it's not that. We are not being worked. They're too smart for this to have been their idea. And we're too smart as fans to fall for the same bullshit over and over. People need to understand where the company is right now. They don't care to give us what we want. But I digress. Another little thing is that it was nice to see Corey Graves on commentary for Worlds Collide. Sure, he might have crashed out on Twitter when he got demoted to NXT commentating. He went overboard. I'd say he crossed the line. He could have been fired then and there. So it's nice that they kept him on still. But it's even better to see him on an actual pay-per-view card commentating. Even if it is Worlds Collide. But let's get into the review. On to our first match. LWO. Consisting of Dragon Lee, Cruz del Toro, and Lince Dorado versus Octagon Jr., Aerostar, and Mr. Iguana. Honestly, really good Lucha Libre exhibition. There's these silly spots which are very common in wrestling for like the last couple years. I feel like even before then, I just feel like I've noticed it a lot more lately. The silly spots where if it's multi-man or a tag team match where one guy goes for the cover on the other, even though the other opponent is waiting there, standing there, waiting to springboard dive onto them to break up the pin attempt. I just feel like those are dumb spots, but I digress. Surprisingly, the AAA team wins. And the biggest take from this match is that an Iguana is more over than anything going on in WWE right now. Anything on the main roster. This Iguana, La Yesca, are just way more over. The pops that Mr. Iguana got and the spots he did with his little, I guess to describe it, it's kind of like the Cobra Santino Marella used to put on his hand. But instead it's like a iguana. And he did a few moves with it. Everybody popped. Then Lince Dorado got mad, took it off him, started stomping it out, does a standing Spanish fly on it, which gets a big ooh. Like he did something bad. And, Mr. Iguana's back there losing his mind, about to crash out, about to put him 6 feet under for the W. And no. I mean, his team gets the win. but Octagon Jr. gets the pin. And shortly after the match, a Dirty Dom angle. He comes out. It's short and to the point, which is nice, you know. Just a quick little promo. He does do it in Spanish and English, which is nice to see. I don't know why I was so surprised. His Spanish isn't bad. He's really good. Cutting a promo in Spanish doesn't seem too whitewashed. But point is, he pretty much just tells him, oh, you love Rey Mysterio so much, then you're just as much a deadbeat as him. Leads to a nice brawl. They get in a brawl. Liv Morgan's trying to get in the middle of this, like she's gonna stop these other three guys from piling on top of Dom. And then it leads to Dom angrily announcing, oh, I'll see you tonight, perro, or something like that. I might be adding on. But then it leads to a match between Octagon Jr. and Dirty Dom for the IC title on Money in the Bank later tonight. The night of the pay-per-view, obviously. The next match, Stephanie Vacour and Lola Vice versus Dalis and Chic Tormenta. Decent match. Heel team did a great job at getting heat, keeping Lola Vice isolated in their corner, lots of quick tags, lots of good just teamwork from them. And then the hot tag executed perfectly. They beat her down, they're keeping her in that corner, then she starts firing up, trying to make a comeback. She kicks off of the opponent, just leaps for that tag, and then the place erupts for Stephanie. Of course, people love her right now. And before she gets the pinfall over Dalis, her and Lola Vice, of course, gotta get that big moment in their match where they both do the devil's kiss together. Great move for the simps and all the gooners like Gooner T. But yeah, Stephanie pins Dalis for the win. Then that match was followed by Llegado de Fantasma, which consisted of Santos Escobar, Angel, and Berto versus another trio from AAA consisting of Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., Pagano, and Psycho Clown. All around good match. Some more lucha libre, also some typical WWE dives and spots, you know, the suicide dives and the leaps over the top rope where they're just standing there waiting for them. It was really back and forth. A lot of close falls, more than I expected from this match. I thought it was gonna honestly be the bathroom break match of the card. Pretty good work from all around. More surprising than the first match is that Santos gets the W for Llegado and pins Wagner Jr. And it's an ongoing thing, but yes, the AAA luchadores, their names are so silly. Hell, even the character work is sometimes silly. I mean, Mr. Iguana, not to hate on him, but it's so silly, but it's so over, and I love it. I love when people and fans can come together and really push a wrestler to the top over just fandom over him. It's not that he's so serious or his in-ring work is so fantastic or his promos are top-notch where, hey, we need him main eventing. No, this is more of the, hey, this guy is just amazing at his character work. He should be on TV more. Kind of like Danhausen. But anyways, the co-main of the card, Ethan Page versus Javon Evans versus Ray Phoenix versus Laredo Kid. Listen, did anybody really expect Ethan to lose? And although I feel like this match had so many high spots, they did a great job at not botching and keeping the match flow at a high speed because they started at 100 miles per hour and they just kept it throughout. They really paced themselves at this match. They just kept the action going. It was so action packed. And I might be the only one here on this. I I really enjoyed this spot. It was more towards the beginning of the match, maybe in like the first 5-10 minutes, where Javon and Ray Phoenix were going for that typical forearm exchange spot that people do. It's typical in AEW, but sometimes they do it in WWE as well, where Ray Phoenix just reaches back, hits Javon with that forearm pretty stiff. Javon kind of just acknowledges, like, dang, that was a good forearm. And he psychs him out. He reaches back. He drags it on for dramatic effect. You think he's going to go for that forearm. Psych. He goes down low and he rolls up Phoenix with a quick schoolboy for a 2 count. But anyways, Ethan Page does get the victory after all. Not surprising, but it was a really good match. I'll give it that. And on to the main event of the evening. Hijo de Vikingo versus Chad Gable. Listen, I'm gonna glaze. This was a great match. It was fantastic. Great chain wrestling. Good job by Gable getting the crowd involved, getting heat, getting the crowd to cheer on and get Vikingo back into the match, because Chad Gable was dominating in the beginning. Some great mat wrestling and transitions. They're just showing off how good in-ring workers they are compared to 90% of the rest of the roster. There was a tough Meteora spot where Vikingo crashes onto Chad Gable and they both go flying out the ring through the bottom rope to the ground. Vikingo also was showing some insane athleticism. This spot, I've just never seen anything like it before. It was like a 630 splash, but from the apron side of the second rope. So not only was on the outside of the ropes, he had to jump over, bounce off that second rope over the third rope for that 630 onto Gable. There's also a Mexican destroyer on the apron. It was executed really well, but what takes away from it is that it's so common to see that move now. Everyone's doing it. Hell, the women do it in the ladder match at Money in the Bank later on, where I think it was Liv and Roxanne. They both go for dual Mexican destroyers on the ladders. Anyways, enough about that shit card. There was a beautiful moonsault by Gable to Vikingo on a table outside. And then towards the last, I'd say about 5 minutes of the match, it looks like Vikingo has a possible, I don't know if a dead leg or a true injury, but this man toughs it out. He just pushes through the pain. We got to get to that finish. Keeps beating Gable. And then he goes for a 630 splash with little to no power in his right leg and gets the dub. The end. Great match. I don't know. Part of me was wishing that Chad Gable would win it, but that was a long shot. I mean, it is the AAA title, you know. But yes, that was the Worlds Collide review. All in all, I do have to review that Money in the Bank pay-per-view, but this card was 10 times better than Money in the Bank. It even seemed like they put 10 times the effort into this one than Money in the Bank. And on top of that, what made it even better? No eyesores, no ads, nothing crazy to distract you from the wrestling.